Welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to be covering slices and arrays. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to be covering is arrays. An array is a data type that can hold multiple values of the same type. For example, let's say we had a list of names. We could store all of those names in a single variable using the array type. So let's go ahead and create our very own array that stores a list of cities. First I'm going to type var, and let's give our variable the name cities, so I'm just going to type cities. Now for our variable's type, we're going to put an open and close square bracket right here. And then I'm going to type in string since I want my array to store strings. Now inside of the square brackets right here, we need to put our array size. And I want our array to store up to 3 cities, so I'll put 3. We've created our cities array, but we haven't stored any values in it. So each position in the array has an index. The first value in the array has an index of 0. The second value has an index of 1, and so on. Let's assign a value to the first position or 0 index of our array. So first I'm going to type cities. Then I'm going to put square brackets just like this. And in between these square brackets, we put the index of the position we want to assign a value to. I'm going to put 0 since the first value in the array has an index of 0. Then I'm just going to type =, London. Now London is in the first position of our array. Down here, I'm going to type fmt.println cities, so we can print out our array. Now let's run our code. And as you can see, our array was printed. Notice that there's some blank spaces here. That's because since we didn't assign values to the second and third position in our array, they defaulted to the string 0 value. Let's add 2 more cities to our array. So right here, I'm going to type cities 1 =, Tokyo. And then I'm just going to type cities 2 = Toronto. Now let's run the code, and as you can see, our array was printed with all our cities in it. We can also print the value at a specific index in the array. Let's print the value at position 2 instead of the whole array. So to do this, let's go into our print statement right here, and let's add brackets. And now we're going to put 1 inside just like this. And that's because the value at position 2 has an index of 1. Now let's run the code, and as you can see, only Tokyo was printed since that's the second value in our array and is at index 1. We can also shorten our code by creating our array and assigning values to it in the same line. So let's just delete this code right here. Now I'm going to type var cities =, square brackets, and then I'm going to put 3 inside the square bracket since I want the array to be of size 3. Next I'm going to put string right here since this is going to be an array of strings. Now we put curly brackets just like this. And we want to put the values we want to assign to our array between these curly brackets. And we have to separate the values using commas. So I'm just going to type London, Tokyo, Toronto. We can actually make this even shorter by deleting var right here, and then putting a colon before the =, just like this. Instead of printing the value at index 1, let's just print out the whole cities array. Now let's run the code, and as you can see, the output is exactly the same as before. One more thing we can do is replace the 3 right here with ... And now Go is going to automatically make our cities array have a size of 3, since we assigned it 3 values. If we added another value between our curly brackets, Go would automatically make the array have a size of 4. Just like with normal variables, we can change the values inside of an array. So let's change the value at the first index of our array. Down here, I'm just going to type cities, square brackets, 1 =, New York. Then let's print the value after it's changed. So I'm just going to type fmt.println cities 1. And let's also print the city at index 1 up here. Now let's run the code. And as you can see, the value was changed from Tokyo to New York. That's why Tokyo was printed here, but New York was printed down here. Now we're going to explore slices, and slices are similar to arrays. But unlike arrays, slices don't have a fixed size. We can increase and decrease the size of a slice after creating it. So let's make our cities variable a slice instead of an array. Creating slices is almost exactly the same as creating arrays. The only difference is you don't put anything between the square brackets where you specify the size. So I'm just going to delete these 3 dots right here, and now cities is a slice instead of an array. I'm going to delete this code right here so I can show you how to add another value to our slice. Let's add New York to our slice, so I'm going to type cities =, append, brackets, cities, New York. Now let's print our slice before and after we added New York to it. So I'm going to type fmt.println cities up here, and I'm also going to add it down here. Now let's run the code. And as you can see, New York was added to our slice. Now let's decrease the size of our array. So I'm going to type cities =, cities, square brackets, and then in between the square brackets, I'm just going to put :2. This line of code is going to make our cities variable equal to the values in the city slice before index 2. So values at index 0 and 1 will be in our slice, but not the values at 2 and 3. And then let's just type fmt.println cities right here. And now let's run the code. And as you can see, only values at index 0 and 1 are in our slice when it was printed here. Another thing we can do is add a 1 right here before the colon and replace 2 with 3. What this line of code is going to do is set our cities variables to be equal to values starting at index 1 and before index 3. Now let's run the code. And as you can see, values at index 1 and 2 are printed, but not values at index 0 and 3. The last thing I want to show you guys in this video is len. We can use len to get the size of an array or slice. So let's delete all this code right here. And now I'm going to type fmt.println len brackets cities. Len cities right here is going to evaluate to the size of our city slice. Now let's run the code. And as you can see, 3 was printed since we have 3 values in our city slice. As you can see, our city slice has 3 values, and right now I only have 3 subscribers. So I'd really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos.